Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey designers, welcome back for episode 74 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek. And today I want to talk about your software and how it was not built for you. I've talked about this before, but I haven't done a full episode about it. And it's just something that just keeps coming up. So I wanted to talk more about it, especially as we head into Field Day, which is my 9-week program that is self-paced. And you can learn all the ins and outs to get started with all of the critical tools that I'm using right now for AI. And that includes things like Claude or Perplexity or Canva, but it's more skill and setup oriented and quick wins. So if you're interested in getting started with that, you can go to aiforinteriordesigners.com/field-day and you can get registered. It starts on, Tuesday of next week. And I have to look at my calendar because, of course, I didn't have that right in front of me and I'm blanking on the day. So it starts June 2nd at 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, live stream every 20 minutes. I will have a video that I stream. I will be there in chat. It'll be live stream so you can ask questions. But then if you need more one-on-one help, there's something called study hall, and those you can come open floor. They're 2 separate sessions, max 16 people per session, and you can come and ask real-time questions to me live in Zoom room or Meet. I can't remember where I set it up at this point because I have both. I just don't love Zoom, but Meet also is frustrating sometimes too. So it is what it is, but that is Field Day, and it's 9 days. It's not just one. But it's all Tuesdays throughout June and July this summer. It's a great way to learn AI, and it's super affordable. It's $249 a person, okay, for 9 weeks of classes. So if you haven't registered, I hope to see you there. But as I'm doing all of this and I'm getting everything ready and I'm, planning and talking to people and just heads down, like learning. I think people forget that I have to learn all these things and then implement them and decide if it's worthy of reteaching that tool or that skill or that program. That's what I do every day is learn, absorb, apply, filter, and then reteach. So that's what I've been doing. And a lot of that has been really bringing to light where we are with AI technology now, where we will be at the end of this year, and where the future is going, because technology is going to feel like it disappears very soon. And I know that's weird to say, but technology is clunky and it is obvious. And very soon in the near future, and when I say that, I'm talking about a couple of years at this point, it won't feel that way. It's going to feel more intentional and on purpose. And, like it doesn't exist. Like it becomes invisible into whatever task or program or thing you are doing. Okay. Sorry, I'm playing with my hair if you're over on YouTube because it's still a little wet from my shower and I'm like trying to dry it. But hello, Jenna, you're shooting a podcast. Maybe chill. Okay. Sorry. So I am discovering, all of these upgrades and ways to use AI at this point in time. And I had this realization about a year ago that the tools and technology that we have been forced to use as interior design professionals was never really created by the interior design professionals that are using it. Now, in some cases they were, and in some cases when they were, they're my friends. And I do like them. And I do really respect and appreciate those people that created technology when there was no technology that existed for interior designers and spent years and so much money and time building these tools and these programs. I mean, they walked so that we can run, right? Because now that we have AI and we have technology that is going a mile a minute, we are able to control our process and our tools better than just saying, what's the best off the shelf option that I can then retrofit into my idea of how I want my business model to look. We don't do that anymore. Okay. So when I see people looking at, oh, well, I'm using this technology and I'm using this, and I've got this whole list of programs, I'm like, yikes. Yikes. That's not the flex you think it is if you're using a ton of different programs. And I will be honest, a year ago, 2 years ago, when I first started doing this, I had a list. I had the list and I shared it at every single session. And that's just because that's where we were at the time, that everybody was like, what's the latest and greatest that can do this? Or where can I create images that do that? Or can I create a 2D model or a 3D model from a 2D picture? And so I had this list and there was a lot on it. But over the past 18 months, I've slowly started to remove things from that list. And eventually I removed the entire list because it just became irrelevant. Because all of these larger LLMs, large language models, like the big ones, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, they all are starting to just do the things that those apps you are paying a subscription to do. So if I'm paying $20 for my workspace in Gemini, but then I also am paying for this other subscription for this other professional tool that's creating images and, doing whatever else I feel like I need it to do because it's AI powered, but I'm paying $20 and I could just do it over here in a chat conversation in Gemini, there's a disconnect there. And it's interesting to me to see from kind of where I observe this industry, because designers are, first of all, not lazy, they're just busy. And so when they get a technology that they actually mesh with and they like it, they stick with it until it drives itself into the ground, or they screw that designer over by stealing their content and their work, right? Like, which happens, okay? So eventually designers, they just get pigeonholed into a technology that was built by tech companies or accountants to do design work. And let me tell you, if you've ever used a project management tool that was built for accounting and not for the design process, you struggle. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because if you have tried, there's a couple out there that were literally accounting programs for interior designers that they tried to retrofit into being a design process in project management tool. And it is not in any way that designers' minds work. It is so analytical and so like financially driven that it's like, yuck. For a lot of us, we're like, why even use this? Like, that's what I have an accountant for, not what my day to day should look like. Like, I design, I create, I don't, yes, of course, I need like the little details of everything, and I need the pricing and I need all of that. But like, why are we paying a project management software that is evolved around an accounting software to then click into our actual accounting software, which is QuickBooks or Xero or whatever else you're using? Like, what the hell? Why? That is our job, is not accounting. It is something else. Why are we adapting our process and our project management software to the accounting part of it all? Like, for me, it's just stupid. Like, the way that we have been forced to work in our own business and build businesses from the start is somebody else's plan. It's somebody else's tech and it's somebody else's way of doing things. So when I look at all of I have a lot of sessions with a lot of different people and all different corners of this industry and other creative industries too. And what I always come back to is the fact that everybody thinks that they might be unique, but in the end, in the operational part of all of this, you're all doing the exact same stuff. And that's why if somebody says, I work in this part of the industry, can you still help me with AI? I'm like, yeah, because it's all the same. Like, everything is always the same. Like, you personally are different. Your brand culture is different. Even your process could probably be, very different from somebody that's doing something similar in your arena. But in the end, it's still a service and it still has the same details in every single component. Okay. So, with that being said, there was technology that was created for the masses, for everybody to operate in that kind of baseline. We know it's a service, we know that this is going to happen, but you can plug and play and you can like make it look kind of different and unique, right? But it's all the same software and it has its limitations. Now, think about when you sat down and you created your business plan and you were like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. Now, let me go out and find the software and the technology that supports my goals so that I can actually make this happen, so that I can collect payments, maintain where they're coming from, like get granular with all the products, track shipping, make purchase orders, have a vendor list, like whatever it is, you needed something to do all the details. And sometimes with all those details, you didn't think about them when you sat down to make your business plan. They just kind of pop up where it's like, oh, yeah, I did actually need all these little tiny things to go into play with this as well. So, with that being said, we have then kind of gotten beaten down to this part where we had to adapt and create a software and technology process that fits into the best we can the way that we wanted to run our business and what was available for the technology at the time on the market. And then after we start our business and we start operating, then all these new things start popping in. And you're like, well, I got this down. Maybe I can check out that. Or this actually looks shiny and new. And that might be a great replacement for this technology that kind of works, but isn't totally my vision. Then you start adding and you start like sampling and getting all these different subscriptions. And then you're like, what subscriptions am I paying for? Is somebody on my team still using that? Is this one person doing it this way and everybody else is doing it this way? So in the end, you have now tried all of these subscriptions. You are probably locked into some that you thought were just a free trial and come to find out on your bank statement, oh my gosh, we have been paying for that for, every month for the past year and don't even know what it is or where. And all of these, companies and in these apps that you were like, I want to create these AI images. And so I'm going to go to like Midjourney and I'm going to, sign up for this one. But then Canva can do it or Gemini can do it or, ChatGPT can do it. So what is the point of still having this one? And then we get so busy that we're like, I just don't even have time to go through all of these. Either I'm going to cancel all my subscriptions and then we're just going to figure it out. Or I'm going to sit down and take the time to say, what does this tool do? Who on my team is using this? Is this helpful? Is there overlap with this other tool? Nobody has time for that though. So nobody's really doing that, right? Like when you get time, you will. Maybe a random Sunday morning when you're like, oh, shoot, they billed me again. I actually forgot to cancel that. I should go do it. Those things are what drives our businesses crazy and also kind of into the ground, right? Like we spin our wheels to do these things that were put into place by corporations, let's be honest, and have basically trapped us into systems and tech and processes that we didn't start and don't feel natural to us and was never the intention, but had to be because of limitations with technology or budget in the end, like maybe the tool that you wanted is just not obtainable for your small business at this point. So you couldn't do it. So you got to find workarounds. Small businesses know about the workarounds, right? Like we find the ways to figure out how we can make something work. And eventually it's all just kind of like, this house of cards where it's like, well, if that tool doesn't work or if this one breaks, then I got to figure it out and I got to start again. Or, it's all patched together. And if you don't feel like your tech is patched together at this point, good for you. You're probably using like two tools. And that's awesome. That is like the goal. That's the simplicity of it all. But for a lot of us, it's not. It is a minimum of 10 subscriptions, like minimum, right? And then from there, it's just like you're hit with this and you're hit with the fees of the email or the website renewal and it's just random, right? And it just keeps coming out. So what I've been doing is trying to figure out where there's overlap with AI updates. So like as we are, progressing rapidly through AI, what can it do? And where is it helpful? Like it's cool that it can do so many like cool things, I guess, but like does that benefit humanity? Or are you just doing that because you think that it's a cool thing to do and you want to waste water, right? There's a difference between small businesses using AI to have a fighting chance against big corporations that are also using AI and laying off workers but have a bigger budget and can do all of these things and basically drown out all these small businesses that are just trying to stay afloat in a sea of corporations that are trying to undercut us. That's not new. That's always been happening. But now what's new is that we get a fighting chance. We get to use the same technology and probably understand it better because we are in it every day, unlike corporations that have a CEO that are telling, their higher ups that you have to implement AI and we have all these subscriptions and get your people to use it, but there's no understanding or leadership to actually implement it and do something of value with AI when it's being forced on them. So it's different when you're a small business in that you're not being forced to do something that you think in the back of your mind, is this going to eliminate my position one day if I do start using this and training it? Are they training me? Am I the replacement? With small businesses, it's more like, look, I could do this all manually or monotonously, the way that if that's a word, the way that I used to do this. Or I can be smart about it and I can record my conversations for quality assurances and I can take those transcripts and I can repurpose them into something that benefits me and that personal experience with my client. And just operates a better business and helps me to not forget things, keep on track, organize myself in a dashboard, whether that's visually or with the information and data that's being pushed to it in a way that makes sense for you. Earlier today, I was on a call with some ladies that I'm going to probably be working with here one on one soon and do some app building for them as well. But one of the things that we were talking about is that, they have all these tools that they love and they love the technology behind it and they want to figure it out, but the technology wasn't made for them. And some of them love spreadsheets. Some of them wanted to, just kind of skip the spreadsheets like myself. Like I will make a pretty spreadsheet. And then after I'm done with making that pretty spreadsheet, I'm like, okay, we're done. I don't want to look at this again. Like, just give me the data. Like, just give me the information. So for that is gold. If you have spreadsheets and data and stuff like that, where you have been creating it for, years, or whether it's just a new project and it's fresh right there in a spreadsheet, that translates over to a dashboard. So the dashboard can look any way you want it to. Okay. As creatives, if you want to have floating stuff going across your board and it's like all, just like animated and in fun little shapes and cool. That's your dashboard. That's pulling in whatever calendar events you have, whatever emails you need to reply to, whatever things you got to schedule, and it can look however you want. Or if you like it structured in a grid in black and white with your logo in the top corner, and it pulls in stats and analytics and helps you to like understand all of your social media at once with one glance and see how everything's performing. And it's not going to your Google Analytics dashboard where you're like, what am I even looking at? But it's pulling in the things that are important to you to measure from maybe your Google Analytics, but in a well branded dashboard and interface. That's where we are. Okay. Raw information, meaning spreadsheets, documents, text files, voice clips, any of that stuff is all you need to be able to create your own customized programs. And those programs could be part of a big master like dashboard where you're literally rebuilding your project management software, but in a way that you only have the tools and the visibility of the things that you love and that are important to you for your operations. Or you can create mini apps where basically they're like, okay, I have a new client. I just had a discovery call. I'm going to now take that discovery call and any email information or written notes that I have, and I'm going to create a little app that knows my brand voice, that knows my branding colors and all that stuff, and how I format my proposals. And every time I have a conversation, I take all the client information, pop it into this. It exports whatever version I prefer of that proposal in the way that I want it, with knowledge of how I like to create and present my proposals and what I like to put in there. So every time I go to my little proposal builder app, and that's what it does. and it does it for me and saves me 3 hours. That type of stuff right there is what we're building. We have been doing like I said, the silly little things that corporations, because nobody in their right mind would say, let's invent email today because that sounds fun. It was a corporation, let's just be honest, that was like, how can we make sure that everybody is doing what they need and we can reach them faster and we can ping them on their time off when they're at home? All that had to have been created by a corporation because I would never want to do that to my employees as a non-corporation, we'll just say. I don't know how email started. It was like so long ago, but maybe it was for you got mail and like dating or something. Maybe it's just like mail order. I don't know. I don't know how email started, but maybe now I'm going to have to go figure that out and do some research after this. I'm sure that something is in there with what I just said. It's got to be like a you got mail dating situation for those old chat things or corporations. I don't know. Either way, I will figure it out and I will report back. But I'm over it and I don't want to email anymore. That's the point of all of this. I want to get a pretty interface that says, oh, you got a little message and your message from your friend is important and it's not spam and you actually want to read it. And then you want to reply to it in your brand voice and your messaging. What do you want to say? How do you want to reply? You want to voice clip that back to me and then I will dictate it back and then you don't even have to get in your inbox. I'll send it. That's what I want. I want invisible email. I don't want to see that I'm writing an email. I don't want to see that I got an email. I don't want a notification on my phone. I just want to see that my friend messaged me and that I have to reply and that I can voice clip it back or dictate it back. And then it sends the text and then it's done. And then I get another message and it looks pretty and it looks fun and engaging and something like I want to open and read. I don't know what it is about my notifications, but when I get one, and they're always great. Like I don't get mean things sent to me. It's just one more thing to do. And for that, it deters me from wanting to do it because I have so many other things I want to do that if I see a pop-up notification for an email or a text message or whatever, I typically actually turn those all off on my phone, just so you know, because I get so many from all different angles that I'm like, I just can't, or else I would never get anything done. So what I would do is like have a really pretty interface and say like, pull in the messages, but make it not look like I am emailing constantly. If I could eliminate email altogether, I would, but I unfortunately can't at this point. Give it 5 years, give it 10 years. I don't think that's email is going to be a thing at all. But right now it is, and we have to deal with it. I'm just trying to think outside the box of how can I physically get myself to do the tasks and the things that I don't enjoy because the interface isn't pretty. Like, I know it sounds so stupid, but I work in the industry of aesthetics and I like pretty things because they make me feel good, productive, and functional. That's what interior design does. It's just helping me to be better and feel better and live better in my space. My technology should do the same thing. It shouldn't feel like it's draining my soul every single time I open my computer or my inbox. And it does. And I hate that. So I'm trying to build my tech and my interfaces so they don't look like something that looks like another task, but it is something that helps me to wrap my brain around what needs to be done and then do it in a way that is productive and relates to me. So with all that being said, and I think I've said that term like 3 times now, sorry. It's Friday. I'm just building new stuff. I'm building what I want to see because the technology is there and I can. And if you are a techie person, go check out Gemini and build in the studio and build some stuff in their developer studio. Base 44 is like a vibe coding thing that you can try out too. There's a ton of them. Base 44 I've tried. I like that one. I haven't used it in about a year because now I Claude code. And also I've been teaching myself like the fundamentals of code for the past 2 years so that I can understand more so than what I knew before when I built a tech company and then sold it because I hired a developer at that time. So I still needed to know the fundamentals of what I was building for my previous company, but I wasn't in there doing it. And now for the past 2 years, I've been in there doing it, teaching myself coding and taking, all of the things that I learn, but also seeing where AI is and where it's going and staying up to date with the latest AI software and technology. But basically what I build now are interfaces for me and my private clients. So you won't hear me talking about a lot of them for that reason. but I build interfaces and apps that do what I just explained here today and basically hide the ugly side of all the tech and streamline so that you can eventually cancel the tools that you have been piecemealing together into creating something that is your customized dashboard and the thing that you would have built had you known when you started your business that that was an option, or it wasn't an option then and now it is, and you can actually build it in a way that makes sense for you, knowing all the things you know up till now in your business and how some tech works good and then some tech is not good, and how you want to actually develop and move forward in your business. And now's a great time to reinvent what that might even look like. Okay. I think, if you started your business 20, 25 years ago, even 10 years ago, your business is not probably what you would love for it to be right now. Even if you had the technology to like adapt and, move away from things that are pigeonholing you, you probably, if you had the time and the energy to sit down and say, I love most of what I do, but if I were to do something that would be totally out of the box that I don't think any of my competitors are doing, or that I've always just wanted to incorporate, but haven't had the time or the funds to build it, now you can. Like seriously, now you can. It's just some of the biggest parts is figuring out what it is, talking to the right people to see if it's a possibility, and chances are it can be done at this point in time. And if not now, give it 6 months, right? But thinking about, if this flow could run like this from start to finish, that would be my perfect business. What would your perfect business look like if the technology didn't hinder it? Or if you didn't create your business based off of the mandates of the technology that was available to you at the time? What would it look like? Because that's the future. And if you don't adapt your business in the next couple years to be something that is what you want to see and operate in the way that you best operate with your creative genius, you're going to be left behind because everything is going to be the same. Nothing will stand out. If you use what everybody else uses off the shelf for technology, your company is going to look like it's off the shelf. And if your clientele is somebody that doesn't do off the shelf, and that's why they hired a designer for a curated and personalized experience, but your website looks like it was made in 2006 and you have done nothing to set yourself apart, you're not going to be thriving. I'll tell you that. Okay. The ones that are embracing as a small business and are adapting and are using AI and technology as a creative outlet to expand their business and their process, that's who's going to win. And that is who you might be working for if you don't change the way that you're doing things in the next couple of years. And I don't say that to be scary or mean, but I say that because I worry for those of you that haven't even looked at your website in 2 years, because everything changed with websites and the internet. So if you're like, where's all the work? I have this beautiful website. Cool. When was the last time you looked at it or updated it? Because lots of stuff has changed, even just in the last week. The way that websites and search engines work has totally changed. And you got to do something about it. And this is the first step, is figuring out the tools, what they do, and then sitting down by yourself for a weekend and writing your business plan in the way that you would like to see it. And then you can come talk to me and we'll figure out which tech can support that. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with that for the weekend, but I hope to see you in Field Day over the summer. Get your ticket now so that you can join me for the first one. If not, you can pop in later, but if you want to be there from the beginning, highly recommend you do it now. All right. Have a great week ahead. And I'm going into the weekend. My husband and I are going to be kidless for the weekend. We're going to go to Hilton Head and just stay at an Airbnb and chill and breathe. I cannot wait. I need a breather. I'm so tired. I'm just trying to catch up on everything from all the travel. So anyway, I will see you guys next time, but have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.